And we are on air.
Hi guys, my name's Brianna, and today we're going to be having a chat about my 2019 New Year's resolutions. So let's get right into the video. Okay, so in the beginning of the year, I made a video all about my resolutions for 2019. So now that it's December and the year is nearly over, I went back and rewatched that video and wrote down every resolution that I made on camera. And now I'm going to be recapping them, saying whether I succeeded, whether I didn't succeed, how well I did at them, and stuff like that. So let's get to it. Okay, so my first resolution for 2019 was to read a book once a month. I failed. So I tried really hard and I got super far into the year, but college really threw a lot of these resolutions out the window. I was not prepared for it to be as stressful as it was. All the work was super easy, but it was a lot of work. So I have terrible time management skills and I wasn't prepared, so all of it just really wrecked my whole plan for all this stuff. So 3 months I did not read. So September, October, November, I did not read a book. Now, with that being said, another one of my goals was to read more than 14 books, because the year before, in 2018, I didn't read every month, so that was one of my goals for the next year. But I did read 14 books, and I wanted to outdo myself. I didn't do that either. This year, 2019, I read 12 books. So, yeah. I may have failed the amount of books, but I did still read quite a bit, so let's go through the books that I read this year. So in January, I read Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. This is it. I have my own copy of it. I read it. Okay, the situation, the circumstance in which I read this book. In my college political science class senior year, we had an assignment, and for it, we had the option to read this book, but we didn't have to. We watched the movie in class, so it was kind of like, you could just do the assignment based off the movie, or I recommend, from the teacher, recommended to read the book. So I decided I wanted to read it, so this is what I read January, and I loved it so much that I got my own copy of it. Then, starting in January and going into February, I read Mouse by Art Spiegelman. It's a comic book, a graphic novel. It was actually really good. It's about, wait, let me go back. I didn't talk about what this book is even about. It's about a dystopia where books are not allowed. So, kind of funny because this is a book and it's a book about books not being allowed. I don't know, kind of interesting. In the book, they go and they burn down all the places that have books. They get rid of the books and all that. And houses are fireproof. Whoa. Really good. I definitely recommend it. Now, back to Mouse. So Mouse is a graphic novel about the Holocaust. Really interesting. All the characters, depending on their nationality, are different animals to portray how people were viewed back then based on their nationality. I thought it was really interesting. I read it for my Psychology of Literature class, and we did a whole bunch of assignments on it. And then in February, after we finished the first one, we read the second one. So that's up to 3 books by February I read. In March, I reread Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. I love this book, but the particular reason I reread it is because I got it as a gift, so I figured I might as well reread it since I have it and it's a good book, so this was my 4th read. Okay, then in April, I read the first book in this series, To All the Boys I've Loved Before. I really loved the movie, so I knew I had to get this right away. So I read the first one, and then I did read the other ones, but not yet. We'll get to that next. After reading the first one, in April going into May, I read Hamlet by Shakespeare. It's a play, but it is also like a book, I guess, because I didn't like see the play. I read it like in a book form. So I would count it as a book, but I don't know. That's up to you if you want to count it as a book. And I read that for my Psychology of Literature course. Then, after that, in May, I read 2 books. I read the second 2 books in this series, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, and that was my next 2 reads. Okay, so far, almost halfway through the year, going strong, been reading books every month, more than one book a couple months here and there. So the first like half of the year was great. So let's keep going. In June, I read My Heart and Other Black Holes by Jasmine Warga. I keep forgetting to say what things are about because I'm terrible at this. I'm terrible at this. This series is about a girl who writes a bunch of love letters every time she has a crush on someone so that she could get the feelings out. And she writes them, addresses them, everything to be cathartic and everything. And then they all get sent out. And the books are about everything that ensues after that. There's a movie about it, and I believe a second one is coming out. You guys want to check those out? Check these out. Yeah. Continuing on. My Heart and Other Black Holes was a really, really good book. I can't remember the details of it, but I do remember loving it. I don't have the book anymore. It was a library book. I kind of feel like rereading it now because I remember it being really good, but I honestly can't remember it. So that kind of stinks. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I'll reread it. 2020, be one of my books. Who knows? Then in June, I also read Looking for Alaska by John Green. I love John Green, but for some reason, I haven't read all of his books yet. I still haven't. I'm working on it, working through them. But this one I have owned for a very, very long time. And I don't know why. I never even knew the idea of what this book was about. And for some reason, the title just never drew me in. So whenever I would pick up a book to read, I never would pick this book up. I always had a plan to read it at some point, but it was never one of those books that drew me in by just like looking at it, just reading the title. Then I started to read it, and everything changed. This book is so incredible. It's thrilling, and it is not what you would think it would be like at all. Like, from start to finish, everything brought new life to reading that I never expected, especially since I knew nothing about this book. I didn't know anything. I had no spoilers previous to reading it. So it was incredibly thrilling. And for that reason, I'm not going to tell you a peep about what this book is about, because for me, that was so much of the thrill of reading it, was how surprised and shocked and like jaw-dropping everything about this book was. And the whole premise of the title of it, I wasn't expecting. I didn't know it was gonna happen, and like going into this book knowing nothing other than read it is the best experience ever. So read this book. Okay, then over July and August, I read this book. It's called Queer: A Graphic History. Now, the reason I took so long to read it is because I really wanted to know everything in this book, really learn it and understand it. So it took me quite a while to read it. It's a lot of facts and information and history, and I really, really enjoyed it. It is a library book. I do still have it because I was hoping to get back to it. I keep renewing it because I'm hoping to get back to it. I want to read it again. I want to get the most out of it as possible, as it was very interesting, and I want to actually properly learn all this stuff than just reading it once, if that makes sense. So, I never did get back to it yet, but I'm hoping this will be one of my rereads for 2020, and I want to just delve further into it and learn a lot more about it, because this was a really good read and very, very interesting to learn about the history. And there's so many things in it that I thought I knew but I was wrong about, or there's misconceptions, and it's a really great book. Now, this is where my reading fell off the wagon. I did not read anything for the whole semester of college. I didn't have any mandatory books for school, so since all my time was focusing on school, reading kind of fell away. I wanted to read that whole time, but there just wasn't the time for it because of how terrible my time management skills are. So that just wasn't happening. So I did read one more book. Well, let me say this. It's included more for the sentiment of it. It's not a real read, so I'm not sure if I should even count it in my total of books, but I did want to include it in this video. So I got it for Christmas, so that's why I read it. It's called You Are Stardust, and it is a children's book, but it has incredible meaning, just the book on its own, but then also it is part of my favorite book, Our Chemical Hearts by Crystal Sutherland. So reading this book meant a lot to me because I've been waiting to get it and waiting to read it so that I would be able to fully know everything that I could possibly know about my favorite book, and yet I still don't know everything about it. Every time I reread my favorite book, I learn something new about it. So that book is also something I hope to be one of my 2020 rereads. But yeah, so this was very, very exciting for me to finally be able to have this. So yeah, those are the books that I read. I know I didn't do so good. I didn't read as many books as I wanted to, but 2020 will be better. So, what's next? Okay, my next resolution was to write a song every month. Well, that's another thing I failed at, sadly. Once again, college really threw me for a loop, so November and December did not have songs, sadly. But I did write 11 songs because October had 2 songs. So that's good. I was almost at the same amount of songs as last year, I think. Let me see how many songs I had last year. Actually, I might have beat last year. Let me see. Okay, so I actually beat last year. Last year I had 10 songs, this year I had 11 songs. So that's good. I did beat the amount of songs, but I didn't meet my goal of writing a song every month. So, good and bad on the songwriting department. So let's see what songs I wrote this year. In January, I wrote a song called Strings of My Heart for my boyfriend's birthday, John. That's like probably going to be a new thing, always doing that because his birthday lands on the day that I post every January, so that's like the perfect opportunity to post something about him because I always post my New Year's vlog on January 1st, so, and his birthday is January 15th, so that always ends up being one of my once a week posts, so that's probably going to be the same thing again for 2020. Then in February, I wrote a song called Stardust, also for my boyfriend because February is like the Valentine's Day month, so of course I gotta do another love song. Then March was another song about my boyfriend called Just Right. No particular reason for the March song, it just happened to be about my boyfriend. Then April, I did a song called This Is My Bedroom. Not sure if this counts as one of my 2019 songs though. I filmed it and posted it in 2019, but I actually wrote it quite a while ago, which I did mention in that video. So, I don't know, that's a toss-up. Then for May, because it was my 1-year anniversary with my boyfriend, I wrote him a song called Freckles. Then in June, I redid the song Freckles. So once again, not sure if that counts as a song because it's the same song, but it's a redone version of it. I don't know. Then in July, I wrote a song called Goodbye because high school is finally over and I'm kind of moving on to new things in my life. So I was saying goodbye to everything in the past. In August, I wrote a song called Changes Tappin'. Honestly, a very, very random song. It's about like things in society changing, but I wasn't like planning on writing that song at all. I just kind of sat down and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna write something random, and then I wrote something random, and like, yeah, not really any meaning behind that song. If you read the lyrics, I guess it's kind of meaningful, but like, when I wrote it, I wasn't like trying to be meaningful, if that makes sense. I don't know. Then in September, I wrote a song called Colors of the World. I actually was not really happy with the song and I wasn't gonna post it, but then my brother started singing along with me, my brother Wyatt, and he was just too adorable. I couldn't pass up the opportunity to do it with him, so I included him in it and I ended up posting it. Then in October, I posted a song called Small. This song, I'm pretty sure in 2020 I'm going to redo because at the time my ukulele was broken and the song, I had written it to go with the ukulele part, so I posted it a cappella. So now that I have a ukulele again, I'm hoping to redo that song with actual music behind it. So that'll be good. And then also in October, I did a song called Goodnight. If If you read the lyrics, it's really depressing. I just was having one of those days, one of those moments, and I decided to let out my emotions in a song so that I could let it all out and breathe and be okay again. So yeah, those are my 2019 songs. I wonder what 2020 is gonna be like. I hope I can write more songs and actually achieve this goal in 2020, because so far I'm not doing so good on the passing all the resolution parts. Because here's the next goal of 2019 that I failed. In 2018, I said I wanted to write a rough draft of my book. Well, that was too much pressure for me because I knew I would never finish it, so I didn't work on it at all. So, I made my goal for 2019 to be to just work on it. Anything. Anything is better than nothing. Well, I forgot about it. I literally forgot about it. I forgot that that was something even like on my agenda. Like, I want to write a book. That's something I want to do. It's one of my goals in life is to write and publish a book. But who knows? It'll happen eventually. I have a very long life ahead of me. Hopefully, I will get it done one year. Who says it has to be this year or next year or the next year? It's just something that'll happen eventually because I just didn't do it this year. Okay, the next ones I would say I'm gonna give myself partial credit or most credit for. I really don't want to say I 100% passed any of these resolutions because honestly I'm always growing and I'm always working on things, but the next few are like, yeah, you did alright, did okay, good job, good on you. That's what they're like, so boom. Okay, so the next one was to be unapologetically myself. I definitely still have a lot of work to do on that, and I still do things sometimes out of fear or sadness or protecting someone else. I definitely still change certain things for those reasons. But I feel like this year, overall, I genuinely was just like, that's it. I don't really care what you think. I'm gonna do what I want because this is me and I want to be me. I feel like that was overall my attitude. So I'm gonna give this one a cha-ching, a thumbs up. I think I passed it, but like I said, you always do little things to make the people you love happy. So not a 100%, something to always keep working on. Now this next one, I think I did way better than previous years. Take more pride in how I look, how I dress, taking care of myself, what I do with my hair, all that kind of stuff. I think I did a lot better. Now, I still had my slumming it out type of days. Plenty of days like that. But I would say for the majority of the year, I dressed how I genuinely wanted to dress, not just dressing quickly because I'm lazy. I did my hair the way I genuinely wanted to do my hair, not just doing it a certain way because I'm lazy. I took care of everything about how I need to be to present myself. Everything like that overall. I would say the one thing I didn't really do is wear makeup. Now, I'm not the type of girl who's gonna want to wear makeup every day regardless, but I could have worn makeup more often. I don't want to wear makeup every day whatsoever, but I am very interested in experimenting with makeup a little bit more, wearing it every now and then, not just on special occasions. And I didn't really do that this year out of the sake of it takes so much time and effort to do makeup. So yes, I took a lot more pride in how I look and dress and take care of myself this year, but I could have done more because there are things I wanted to do with myself and my look that I didn't do out of just sheer lack of time. So if I improve my time management, I can hopefully improve everything else that I want to do and be able to do things like that. Like, I want to be able to be like, oh, I finished all my work, so I could go to sleep early, which means I could wake up early, which means I'll have time to maybe try out a new makeup look. That's what I want for 2020 because that's not what happened in 2019. Everything else I think was pretty good though, with the way I presented myself, I think. I don't know. Another thing that I think I've had drastic strides in improving is working on my self-esteem. I feel a lot better about myself than I used to, and every year I'm improving on this. And don't get me wrong, I still have massive setbacks all the time. But at the end of the day, I'm feeling way better about myself, and that's what's important. But once again, I'm not going to give this a full cha-ching, because giving something a full, yeah, boom, you did this, means you're done with it. You finished that goal. But I'm never going to be finished with this goal. It's something I need to always be progressively working on. And although I'm saying, like, yeah, I'm feeling good about myself, does that mean that I think I'm perfect? No, not at all. I still have so many things that I don't like about myself, and I want to keep improving, and I want to work on, or I want to change. But what I'm saying is, overall, I feel happy with myself. And that is like the goal. Okay, so the next one kind of ties in with an earlier one. Live life to the fullest. To me, that kind of ties in with be unapologetically myself, but yet they're still different and separated. But my response to that and how it went this year is kind of the same as be unapologetically myself. It did a pretty good job overall. I think I did things that I wanted to do. I did things that were fun and interesting and thrilling. But there are also some times that I limit myself because, well, maybe this other person doesn't want to do it. So I'm not going to do it because I love this person and I want to spend time with them. So it's like a toss-up because I'm still living my life how I want to live it, but I'm also not doing certain things. So it's not like it's like that all the time. Let's say there are 5 things in a week that I want to do, and I don't do one of them because I do something else with a friend. I think I'm still living my life to the fullest, but in a different way, so I guess that's a success. I don't know. It's like, if I want to do something and I don't do it in response to do something instead, is that living your life to the fullest? I'm not sure. But regardless of that every now and then situation, the rest of the time I have been living my life how I want to live it. I've been very happy with my life recently. It's been going pretty good. Now the next thing, I'm going to say it as a mostly. Reach out of my comfort zone. Now, I have done a lot of things this year that I couldn't have seen myself doing previously. But am I constantly doing things that make me go, ooh, should I do that? And then I do it and I feel thrilled? Not always. Sometimes something makes me feel slightly uncomfortable, so I just don't do it. Now, I don't think that's bad either, but I do think I should put myself out there more. And I think that there's a lot of things I could be doing that I'm not doing out of fear. And that's something I just have to push past and really reach outside my comfort zone. So I'm gonna put that as a mostly, but it definitely still needs more work. Now, this next one I think is the one and only one I will consider a full-on success. Have no regrets. I don't think this even needs to be a resolution anymore because it's just a life belief for me. No matter what happens in my life, I don't think I will ever have any regrets because without the things I've done, I wouldn't be where I am. So why should I regret even the bad when it has brought me to the place that I am and being happy with where I am? I see no sense in having regrets. So I'm gonna say that's a success, and I'm not even gonna worry about that anymore because that has just become my belief in life. It doesn't need to be something I need to work on when it's just my belief at this point. Now the next one is to find happiness. Now this is such a vague statement that when I first rewatched that video of my 2019 resolutions, I wasn't quite sure how to respond. Yeah, I guess I feel happy right now, but have I found happiness? I don't know. I'm not quite sure what I even meant by that at the beginning of the year. Like, if I mean to make myself happy, like sometimes I make myself happy, sometimes I make myself depressed. Sometimes I make myself get all worked up and I get anxious or angry. I make myself feel a lot of emotions. So, who is to say if I've found happiness? Like, That seems like such a profound thing to say, but I'm gonna put it as a mostly. I'm happy with my life right now. I'm happy with my friends. I'm happy with the way people treat me. Mostly happy with the way people treat me. I'm happy with myself and how I treat myself. And I'm just constantly working on improving all of that and improving myself and improving my life and my situations I'm in. And I think overall, despite every bad thing that happens, every low day I have, I think overall, I'm happy. Okay, the next one is to take time to do the things I enjoy. This one is a big life has been so crazy for 2019, from finishing high school and graduating and getting a job and getting a license and going to college, and so many things have happened this year that free time has become slim to none, because the rare amount of free time I have goes towards seeing my friends, seeing my boyfriend, seeing my family. Like, I don't really have much free time to myself. That being said, I've made sure to continue and constantly still be making videos. So, the thing is, the reason I say is kind of going to be more explained in this next part, but to vaguely sum it up now, is I have still done certain things. Like, I still read some books, I still wrote some songs, I still did a lot of videos, but I did them all in a time crunch and stressed. So is that really enjoying taking time? So that is something I have to really work on next year, 2020, which I'm gonna talk about a little bit more in this next thing. This is like 3 things all wrapped into one right now. This is the last thing. Pace myself, work on my time management, and don't make things I enjoy stressful. All different things, yet they are all related and they all impact each other. Pace myself. What does that mean to me? Well, for example, if I plan on doing videos every day in October, November, December, I have to make sure I do a whole bunch in advance, take my time, work through all of them, not leave it for the last minute, do it all when I have the time, and get through it. I love making videos every day in October, November, December, because those are the months where I have the most video ideas, the most to do, most to say, because to me, for content and creativity wise, those are the most filled months. It's Halloween, it's birthdays, it's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, it's all of these things that are filled with video ideas, you know? Do videos about growing up, do videos about what I'm thankful for, do videos about Christmas, what it means to me, decorating, baking, anything. There's so many ideas that come with these holidays that those have always seemed like very important months to make sure I'd put out a lot of content. And the fact that they're all back to back adds a level of stress to that content creating. So pacing myself is something that's going to be really important. But it's not just with videos. That's just the biggest and easiest example. It's with everything. I do this a lot. I have a really bad habit of just doing things when they have to get done. Not doing it over time and pacing myself and making sure it's all how I want it to be and being happy and enjoying it. No. I like to wait right until it's time to do it and get right into it and do it quick and sloppy, and that is the problem I need to fix. But it's hard to pace yourself. So that's where the next part of it comes in. Working on my time management. I have terrible time management. Absolutely terrible time management. And in order to pace yourself, you have to be able to manage your time, get things done at certain times, set schedules for yourselves, time to do things, and things like that. So, because I'm so bad at time management and so bad at pacing myself, this year I was not able to do either of those things. Everything just became stressful because of those things. Like this one, the last goal, don't make things I enjoy stressful. Well, I made a ton of things stressful because I'm bad at pacing myself and I'm bad at time management. Like what I just said about how, like, oh, in the summer, if I'm making videos once a week, I should be preparing for the fall when I make videos every day. Well, I didn't do that this year, so I made making videos a stressor. I made it a stressor. And the thing is, this is the only time of year it ever becomes a stressor. Because the rest of the year, it's like, okay, I make videos every day for a month. Oh, now I get to do it once a week. Oh, I make videos every day for a month. Oh, now I get to do it once a week. This is the only time of year that it's back to back to back, which I love. This is my favorite time of year to make videos. But it becomes very stressful when I don't prepare myself. And it's not just videos that I failed at this year. College, I was not prepared for at all. I didn't pace myself. I didn't have good time management. I had so many all-nighters just for school, which sucks because I have become such a basic science sleep schedule type of person. I feel like my body feels like it needs to go to sleep at a certain time, can't wake up till a certain time, but yet I have been having to neglect what my body is telling me it needs sleep-wise because I'm so bad at time management. Oh, here, stay up super late to do this video because you forgot to do your homework and you were doing it all day, so you didn't make this video. Oh, here's this essay that you forgot to do, or here's this essay you haven't had time to do because you were so bad at time management. You've been so busy every second of your life that oh, now it's due tomorrow, finish it. I have been so overwhelmed because of my bad time management that I definitely 100% failed at pacing, time management, and not making life stressful, because I have made everything stressful the past few months because of how bad my pacing and time management skills are. So those are definitely goals that have to go on to 2020. But this time I have to actually focus and complete those goals because that's very, very, very important. So yeah, those were my 2019 resolutions and how well I did them. Not the best year for that type of stuff, but I think overall it was a pretty good year, but I just got very overwhelmed at the tail end of it and just messed up a bunch of my resolutions. But I lasted pretty far into the year though, so it's pretty good. I don't know. Next year will be better. 2020, start of a new decade. So yeah, what were your resolutions this year? Did you complete them? Did you not? Anything you want to continue for next year? Let me know in the comments down below. But alright guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Happy VEDID, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Mwah.